Now, adverbs of sequence. Now, when we say sequence, sequence means what? Sequence means something that need to be there in order. We use adverbs of sequence to describe the order in which things happen. Okay? Now, this adverb of sequence is very rarely in your school books. You may find or you may not find. Okay? Now, we often use adverb of sequence to tell a story, write a recipe, or give direction. Now, maybe when I'm writing a recipe, I'm making you understand how to make a cake. Yeah. So how will I write? First add this, then add this, later add this. So what is this? This is a direction which I'm giving. Isn't it? This is the direction which I'm giving to all of you. So ultimately, these are what? These are sequence. These are the things which are there in order. Adverb of sequence almost always come at the beginning of the sentence and are followed by a comma. Now, always remember, whenever we talk about any sequence, any direction, any way, any pattern of writing that need to be in a proper order, that is always going to be there in the beginning of the sentence and not in the middle or at the end. And whenever you come across these words, a direction in the beginning, there will be a comma. Yes, Hanne?
Ma'am, adverb of sequence is in my school book.
It's there? Oh, many of the students they don't have. So that's the reason I said that many of you don't have, so don't get yourself confused. Whatever adverbs you all have, you can follow that much only. Now before break, yes, Veer?
Ma'am, I go to washroom.
Yeah, okay. Yes, Vanya?
Ma'am, I can't understand the sixth one.
It is sequence means the words that need to be there in a proper direction, in a proper order. Now, Vanya, you must have seen any recipe books. Have you seen any?
Yes,
so in that, you must have seen that they always give a direction that how first what you need to take, then what you need to add to it. Later on,
I have written a recipe in my.
You have written, na? So what you did, you must have mentioned over there first, add this, then this, later this, finally, isn't it? So these type of words you must have used so that we are able to understand what I need to use first and what I need to use next.
Okay.
Yeah. So these are said to be sequence, the directions which are being given.
Okay.
Okay. Now, before breakfast, you should clean your room. Now, before is again what? Before what? Before breakfast.
Yes.
So, see, there is a comma after the sequencing. Like before breakfast, before dinner, before lunch. So, this is the direction which is being given that before breakfast, you should clean your room. Your room should be cleaned.
Okay.
Okay. The words first, next, then, and last are sequencing words. After, before may also be used. Now, first, next, then, and last, these are mainly the sequencing adverbs. But if you use after and before, then also teacher is not going to give you wrong. Then also it's correct.
Okay.
Okay. Anyone have any question related to adverbs of sequence? No question? Yeah. Yes, Navya?
Until now, what did you did, ma'am?
Yes, Navya. Wait, Stevie. Wait. Raise your hand and be on mute.
Ma'am, how before breakfast is the direction?
Why? It's a direction. It's not in that sense that it's not telling you the way. In that way, it is not a direction. When you must be getting yourself confused. Like directions are always right, left, these type. Yeah.
Yes.
Normally, what happen? We sometimes say that, see, I am directing you. I'm telling you that how you need to do this work. So you need to do this work in a proper order, in a proper way.
Okay.
Okay. So your mother or maybe anyone, your maybe elder sister or brother, anyone must have be telling you like, okay, listen, before lunch or before breakfast, you should finish this work. So this is the way which they are trying to guide you, which they are trying to tell you. They are making you, they are just telling you to follow it in a way that before lunch, your homework, you should finish your homework. So this is ultimately the direction, the way which they are making you aware of that this work needs to be done before your lunch or before breakfast. Okay?
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah, we.
Ma'am, actually, ma'am, I went to washroom, ma'am. What did you written now, ma'am?
Now, read adverb of sequence means anything that need to be followed in a very orderly manner or maybe in a proper direction. Okay. Now, when I say you must have read the recipe books or you must have written or must have seen somewhere. Okay, Veer, when I'm explaining better, don't look here and there. It's really difficult to explain the same thing 2 or 3 times. Yeah. Now, when I'm saying sequence, that Veer, have you read any recipe book, anything as such?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So in recipe books, you must have come across the words like first you need to first take a pan, then add this to it, then add oil. Yeah. Next, add the batter which you had made. So something like this you must have read in the recipe books, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah. See, we looking here and there. Oh, Veer, your video is frozen. Someone is saying something? Anyone is saying something? Let us wait for Veer. Maybe I can see he's having some network issue. Veer, you are there? Okay. Apart from Veer, anyone else have this any problem in adverb of sequence? Now relative adverb. Now relative adverbs like words like where, when, and why can be used to join sentences or clauses. They show a relation between subject and other clauses. Let's look at 3 relative adverbs. Each one has its own role. Now see, there are 3 relative adverbs. Where, number 1 is where, number 2 is when, and number 3 is why. Now when I say where is trying to tell us something about a place. When is trying to tell us something about the time. And why introduces an adjective clause describing over here, describing a reason. Now, when I'm saying introduces an adjective, now why are you doing this? So what are these? These are a form of question. But when we talk about relative adverb, these words will not be used in a form of question. These words will be used to join sentences or clauses. Now see, it is the reason why I left. So now over here, why it is the reason why I left. Over here, why is not used as a question. Y is used to join two sentences. Tomorrow is the day when I get my first paycheck. Now see, when is again, I'm not using here as a question.
Ma'am, we
Tomorrow
can't
is
see the screen.
what?
We can't see the screen.
You all are not able to see the screen?
And we can
And
see
the
the
screen
screen.
is clearly visible.
So Hannet, you need to log out and then log in again.
Ma'am, it is showing the relative adverb screen. That's the reason why I left. Tomorrow's the day when I get my... Acha, that one.
So we were doing that only. Yeah. What happened?
I thought you went to the next slide.
Okay. So tomorrow is the day when I get my first paycheck. So when is again not used as a question in this sentence. When is used here to join two sentences, or we may say clauses. I know the town where you live. Now again, where is not used here as a question. I know the town where you live. Where is again used as a word that join two clauses or two sentences. Clear? So please keep this thing very clear, like clearly in your mind, that whenever we talk about relative adverb, please don't get yourself confused that relative adverb words can be used as a question. No, it can't be used as a question. These words can only be used to join two sentences or clauses. Apart from that, you can't use them for questions. The moment you use them as a question, they are no longer taken to be there as a relative adverb. Anyone have any question related to relative adverb? Yes, Hanmit?
Ma'am, we can't take relative adverbs as questions.
No, we can't. Okay.
Why?
There is a rule. We don't have any answer to this question. Why? Because all the adverbs, they do have a proper rule too, yeah, which you need to follow. So relative adverbs words can only be taken to join the sentence or clauses. Okay, Hanne?
So the first sentence will be like, why is the reason that she left? So there's not written in the sentence.
This is not relative. This is a question which you are asking. Huh? So this is not relative adverb. Relative adverbs are only used to join sentence. And you like conjunction? You all know conjunction. Conjunctions are joining words. So
Yeah.
present is somewhat like conjunction only, but the words, only these three words will be taken to be there as a relative adverb. Okay? Yes, Neha?
Ma'am, we are using why as a question also.
Hmm?
Ma'am, we are using why as a question also.
Where why is used as a question in this sentence? Tell me.
Ma'am, not in this sentence, but we are using it.
Why you can use as a question. If you will use why as a question, that why is not taken to be there as a relative adverb. If you will use why, where, when as a question, it can't be a relative adverb.
Ma'am, why, where, and when can be, if that can be not a question, so we can use it as a relative adverb.
Yes.
If there is question, if we are using these three words as a question, so it will be not a relative adverb.
Yeah, it won't be. Okay. These words can only be used in the middle of the sentence. You will not be using these words in the beginning of the sentence. If teacher asks you to give one example of relative adverb, you will not use why, when, where in the beginning of the sentence. You will use it in the middle of the sentence. You always use something in the middle to join two things. Okay? Yeah, Veer, you are there?
Ma'am,
Yes.
Ma'am, if you use why, where, and when in the starting of the sentence, then it will sound like a question.
Yeah, it will sound like a question. Okay. So that time why won't be a relative adverb. Okay, Shivin, I read your message which you have written. He shifted in US from. Okay, beta. Now, you all are writing in chat now. Once you write in chat now, just let me know if anything important is there, because while teaching, I'm not looking into chat. Okay, now Veer, you are there, Veer? Charvi, why your camera is always off, Charvi? Is there any reason? It's better to tell me the reason, na, so that every time I'm telling you again and again, it doesn't look good. Okay, Veer, why? Veer, you are there. Should I explain again or should I go further, Veer? You just log in.
Sir, ma'am, actually there was some network issues, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Can you repeat it again?
Which one you want me to do again?
Ma'am, this relative
Sequence,
adverb.
I'm quickly explaining again.
Yes,
So,
ma'am.
sequence, when we were talking about the recipes, orderly we are going to mention the words. So the words like first, next, then, last are all the sequencing words. Okay. You can also use after and before. Next is relative adverb. Where, when, and why will be used to join two sentences. You will not use these three words as a question. But if you will use, if you use why, when, and why, where as a question, that time these words are not relative adverb.
That means if these three words where, when, and why are used like a sentence
In the middle of the sentence,
in the middle of the sentence, that is relative adverbs. If it is not in the between of the sentence and joined, then it is not relative adverb.
if it is used as a question in a sentence,
Question.
then
Yes.
it is not a relative adverb. Okay. Understood, Veer?
That means like this, ma'am. I saw a bird. Where did you see the bird?
So, where did you see that bird, or where did you see the bird? Again, you're asking question, na?
It is a question that it is not a relative adverb.
No, it is not.
Yeah.
You see, there are sentences. It is the reason why I left. So see, why is not used here as a question. It is used in the middle of the sentence to join two sentences. Tomorrow is the day when I get my first paycheck. So again, when is used over here to join two sentences. I know the town where you live. Again, where is the word which is being used to join two sentences? Am I clear, Veer?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.